Hey guys, I kind of just want to go on a bit of a ramble today about DBD events and kind of just my thoughts on them. This video is mainly going to be like reviewing the event we've just had, the anniversary one, because like I said in my last video, I did just want to basically play throughout the entire thing and then give my thoughts on it. It gives me time to like collect my thoughts on that, but as I kind of noticed as the days went on, I just wanted to play it like less and less, which I mean, I guess there's no surprise, burnout is like bound to happen, but I feel like there's more like layers to this. So first, let's just go on about the event we've just had, my thoughts on like bits and pieces of it, and my overall like conclusion, and then I do want to kind of talk about events in general. So firstly, with the Black Banquet, or however you say it, because I can't English, basically like, so my overall, like, if I had to grade it, I guess if I had to grade it out of 10, or give it a rating, I'd give it like a 6. Purely because I don't think everything was necessarily bad. Like, a lot of this, in a sense, does go into, like, balance. I don't always like to think in a balanced sense, because I do think events and game modes should just be, like, chaotic fun. But there's a difference between the, like, balance and, like, interactivity. Don't get me wrong, I think the ideas there were, like, alright, we'll say. It did vary at times, like, how impactful or not the buffs and all that were, because sometimes you would have games where you'd kind of throw going for that instead. And trust me, I'm going to get on that a bit later when I compare current events to past events about my thoughts on that. But the free food things were fine. I don't know if there was a statistic or something, but on Survivor, I got the pallet one a lot, and on Killer, I just could not escape the portals one. And I won't lie, there were times where I did get kind of annoyed just seeing the same thing, but hey, there was 3 different, like, we'll say buffs, so it was fine, the chance was there. Maybe I just got unlucky. But so like, the food buffs were fine. I kind of enjoyed the haste in that. It was whatever. Again, some of it varied on, like, the killer you played in that. The invisibility, maybe it's just me, but I had very inconsistent results in mostly countering that one. Because I know you can, like, follow the sound and all that, but I just had days where it was easy to deal with and other days where it was so. And then lastly, the like, endurance one, the one you get with the palette global buff. So basically, this one I kind of realized was more of a detriment over time for people which didn't know how to use it, because as I realized, when you ate that food, unless I am wrong and someone can say otherwise, basically it made it so you just can't get, like, hit like a basic M1. If a killer used a power, like I was playing Ghoul or Oscar, and I used power on them to hit them, it would still do, like, the damage. I don't know if I could down with it, because, like, for example, Ghoul, you're not going to really use power if they're already injured, you use it for the M1, but I didn't really have, like, issues with that one, like, and again, it was really awkward to, like, time and all that, because it was a short window. It was kind of like, dead hard, but in a sense of you can't actually get hit and get the speed boost, so that one was funny. I think overall that one was better for, like, its global buff, the palettes one, but even then that varied on the map you was on that. The fact you could get that on the game was something else, so I think that was, like, kind of humorous and funny. The invisibility one gave you the portals with the invisibility and the recharge and the items. That I liked, purely from a gem rushing sense. So the fact that I could already have a build with, like, built last in that, use a Commodious toolbox, and then if my team got that off, they would then let me get to just recharge my item. And the thing I forgot about is, if you didn't have an item, you could just go through it and you'd get a random item. Like, that was nice. Like, again, from the Survivor side of things, this event was fun. And then the last one was the haste one, where it was so. I know you got the haste if you was next to a teammate. I think I liked that one more for the food buff than the global buff it gave, but I should touch on now the global heal. So I had very mixed, I guess, results, we'll say, because I did play a bit of solo queue as well as a bit of with other friends. If you're playing with a Swift, it was, like, busted as hell. Like, you could literally just coordinate it, be like, okay, they've got food buff ready, you take a chase for a bit, they pop it. There would be some times where you'd pop it badly. Like I noticed one time I was being downed, like in the middle of like the animation of the survivor falling over, and then they pop food buff, so it'd be like delayed, but so then the killer could like recover there from hitting you, so then they could down me again. Like there was a little bit of timing, but it was kind of just insane, we'll say, to see the what you could do at times. Like some killers really just did not want to like play it, but then we'll get to killer, and the fact that killer only had the poison, this is where like the event goes down till a bit. Now, as I learned kind of quickly, and I'm sure lots of you did, if you played like an instant killer, like I played Bubba, played a little bit Myers and that, or just a killer which is just good at catching up in general, already a strong killer, then the poison was a bit oppressive, we'll say. You know, it'd help you get down as quickly, but even then, it, to me, that isn't like justifiable to be all like, ooh, look at this, because again, I don't know, it's basically just like you have a bit of clown and like every killer you played. Like you look at survivors and they've got all this like core stuff they can use, not to mention the dessert we haven't touched on, and then killers, they just got, here's a poison thing, and depending on where you throw it and all that, it might do like nothing. Like, I don't get me wrong, I'm down for new stuff, I'm happy for new stuff, and that's going to be an ongoing thing I do really say in this video, but the fact that that's all they got, and we didn't just have like, okay, like something I would have liked, take the global buff. I know it maybe would have been a bit, I guess stupid almost, because I get the survivors have to be the one to set it up, so they should benefit from it, but I think it would have been really just amusing if it did something for both sides. Like, I don't know, it could be something really wacky, like let's say the invisibility one, go off that. It could have been like, oh, every 10 seconds everyone goes invisible for like 5 seconds, and it could have been very like, you know, daunting. Like you could be in a chase and someone could escape because of that invisibility, but then it could be another time where the killer goes invisible and then they sneak up on the journey and they get a grab, like just stuff like that. I think it would have been like, you know, cool and different. Again, maybe I'm foolish for even suggesting something like that, but this is what I want to get onto. So the event, basically, even though the interactivity wasn't the best, and you had the whole stuff of like you could have thrown your games maybe when setting up the tables and all that stuff, but again, that's like a balance type of thing. I do think it was okay, and more importantly, it has potential for future, we'll say versions, because of course this is ideally going to come back next year, because unless something drastically happens and they like announce something later on and like, oh, we're changing it again, like if this comes back next year and they do just mix a lot more, you know, maybe basically give the killer some more love at least, and maybe like for the survivors you could at the least just throw in more like dishes, have a bigger pool of that, then I think this event would be better. Yeah, I would want to like play it more, because that's the thing I noticed, and this could honestly be burnout. Again, I do acknowledge this could be burnout, is I was playing this event less and less. Like I've played this one way less than past anniversary events. Like it wasn't until like the final week where I basically forced myself to play a bit more, because I just wanted you know, cakes and all that. I like to have some throughout the year, but it just, I don't know, like there was times where you kind of just do gens or the killer. I had games as killer where I wouldn't even use the poison because I like forgot about it. Like it was that like, I guess, disinteresting to me. And yeah, there was times where I'd just do gens because no one would do gens in Survivor, because they'd be doing food buff and that. So it like, this is right. Okay, let's go into comparing like the events. Let's start with anniversary though, because this is where I think the biggest difference is, and why I'm a bit like, why they would change it. Don't get me wrong, right? I must clarify before I talk about all of these like events though. I am fine with change. I'm fine with, you know, them improving stuff, changing stuff up and that. Like, but when you have your past stuff, and again, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm in the minority for this, but when you have like your past events and all that to go off, and you see the stuff which was good and all that, I'm surprised they didn't just take some of them elements. Because the biggest thing with the anniversary mode specifically is in the past ones, in the Masquerade, so the past like what 2-3 years, I think that one was, it would be automatic. It would be off of I think it was fast hooks and jump hops. So, and it would be every like 2 of them. So if a jump hopped and the killer got a fast hook on someone, it'd be like, here's the next modifier, like, you know, my beloved party totems, or it'd be there was the heal exposed one, you know, stuff like that. I think there was a haste one, right? Again, it's been so long now since it happened, but more importantly, the event stuff was automatic. There was no, I have to go do the side thing. And don't get me wrong, side objectives are cool and good. I get us like survivors don't like sitting on gens, but I don't know. I kind of just, looking back on it, liked the just like autonomous sense of it. Like I could play the game normally, like I always have been, and still have this like anniversary event, like, you know, flavoring on it. Like, ooh, you're like doing a chase and a jump up. Now you're exposed and all that, but you're healthy, so maybe you've got like finesse back. Like, you know, just the little stuff like that. Whereas now, if you know, are doing the food buff, it's like mainly just the heal. Maybe the modifier thing you got from it you weren't going to use. Like, I don't know. Again, maybe it's just me. But that's where I also want to touch on quickly the other events. Now, again, it's not all been doom and gloom. Like, take the winter event, for example. That's more of like a 50-50, I think. I like the whole throwing snowball thing they did. That was like really fun and cool. But from what I recall, my memory, unless I am mistaken, so take the past winter events. I'm pretty sure the snowman moved around, did they not? To like almost mimic, like, ooh, there could be a player. But unless I'm wrong, because it has been a bit, I swear the last winter event they did, the snowman didn't do that. You could, of course, make the mimics, and they would like, ooh, do the jump scare and all that, if people came across them. But I kind of miss the whole of them moving around, because then they would, heck, you'd have times where they'd like body block and that, and it would just be like, you know, what the hell, like panic. But it would be, you know, funny, amusing. They'd be more like on edge of like, ooh, is this a like, you know, player? Is it not? And then you'd have the odd ones which would scare you as well. But what has really got me reminiscing the most, and again, I really hope it's different this year, is the Halloween event. So the Halloween event is always like the one I kind of look forward to. Not really for blood points or anything, just more to play. It's always been my most like preferred one. And the biggest disappointment I know I had was with the Void. So last year, when we got the Halloween event, they did the same thing like always with like, you know, the Void and the fog crystals and all that stuff. But the Void was just less Void, you could say. Now, I looked back on the previous iterations and actually did see it like varied and all that. But the one we just had, it was definitely the like weakest, we'll say, take on the Void. And then there was the bigger thing of, I know people were just using it less. Like, you had like less interactivity with it. Now, I don't know if it's because it's still technically the same thing and people are just getting tired of it. I acknowledge that. But the fact that compared to that year, the past like couple of years for that, which I know is a bit ago, so maybe it's just nostalgia for me and again burnout, but I enjoyed like going in the Void, you know, getting your crystals, then you're doing chase, you know, it was fun. It had the flaws to it and all that, and that's what I'm getting at. Again, same anniversary, but get anniversary was a different case because, you know, they're going for an entire different like theme. I don't get why some of it they just change when it already did, like, you know, so well in a sense. Again, I am happy with changing that, and maybe this is just being me being more like, oh, I like this thing, why would they take that thing out? Because again, I don't want to come across that way. But like, I don't know, I think what they can do is they can change some of it but still keep some of it, if that makes sense. And again, at the end of the day, I'm still going to play and love the game and that, like, just because like something goes so, like, you know, take this anniversary event or the Halloween one, doesn't mean I'm going to be all like, oh, I'm not playing again and all that. Like, at the end of the day, I always will have, like, you know, faith in them, that they'll see the feedback, change stuff up and that. And again, I'm just very, again, it probably is just on me, but I did want to just like give my opinion on this stuff a little bit, because like I At the moment, I am in the boat basically of I prefer the past events, like how they did them compared to the current ones. Again, the current ones still have like good stuff to them. Like heck, the Halloween event still has like the stuff I like. It's just different, if that makes sense, you know. The anniversary event still has some cool stuff. It just needs a little bit more like tweaks to it and a little bit more layers. Like again, anniversary event next year, if they like change up the poison stuff and that, you know, more food buffs, etc., etc. That could be really fun. I could like be playing that non-stop there next year, but we just gotta like wait and see basically. But guys, please let me know your opinions on events down below. Like, what do you think of them? I guess the last quick take I could do, but it kind of differs a bit, is maybe if they just do more game modes eventually, because I know we're getting the Summer Screams one, which is just the 3 modes we've had before in like a rotation. But maybe if we get more modes like throughout this year ideally as well, then they'll maybe I'll just feel less like this, because there'll be more different stuff just coming and all that. Of course I know we're getting the zombie mode and the 1v1 stuff, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see what's in store, because again, I'm always going to support this game. I will always, you know, love this game, make content for it and that, but you know, you just have days where you're like into it and other days where you're like so. But yeah guys, let me know, maybe I'm just being delusional and all that about this. Let me know your favorite event down below. Again, I'm still looking forward to Summer Screams. You know, the rotation style could be cool, and before you know it, the Halloween event will be here, and I hope that I'll, you know, enjoy it. I mean, I will probably enjoy it. I just hope it like hits right, you know. But that's gonna be it for me, guys. Again, just a quick like ramble, and I will catch all of you in the next one. So take care and bye bye.